I see myself as working in a way in the tradition of figurative sculpture, but no longer producing, you know, the actual objects, which I think are very problematic. And I'm particularly interested in sculptural objects that are problematic. So I've been photographing socialist monuments in Hungary last year, and I'm about to do a project in Latvia using the Victory Monument. So they are very problematical objects, but also very intriguing. So this image was taken at Nep Stadium, which is a Soviet-era sports stadium in Budapest, and all around the running track are these giant aluminium sculptures. So the idea for me really was to work with a kind of sense of vulnerability, but also, you know, to make a bit of fun of it. This is Marx and Engels. If you look at the history of sculpture, it tells you a lot about the politics and the way people are thinking at any given period. You get a really strong, I think, a really strong correlation between the fact that figuration became almost impossible to do during the 20th century, having been so utterly abused by fascism, by you know, communism, and it just you couldn't do it. It had become too associated with that, and now it's kind of slowly making its way back, but in a, you know, in a different way. The work in the Soviet Sculpture Park was well received. People totally understood that it was how it was intended, and also in the sense the Hungarians are kind of they've really moved on from that in a way, and they can see those objects as a sort of communally owned bit of history, and you know, a kind of physical remnant and proof that something was, which takes a while to happen, I think. There's this kind of theoretical level on which you can approach it, but that wouldn't be getting the work. That's not the point. You know, you're not supposed to be looking at it and think about the history of sculpture necessarily. Only maybe in the second instance, after you've experienced it.